Any questions from last week?
No,
No?
it was pretty clear. Yeah.
Great, great, good. And what should we work on today?
Well, first I do want to comment on something from last week. I
Uh-huh,
noticed it's the moving to the side. It's
uh-huh.
really helpful, but I do notice that it is harder to get used to moving the mouthpiece down. It's
Mm-hmm.
easy to move it to the side, but
Right, yeah.
kind of harder down. But it does sound better when I move it
Mhm.
down also.
And when you say it's difficult, you're having a hard time to move it downwards. Is that in general? Is there some specific context that you feel particularly difficult?
No, it's I think I don't know. It's easy. Like let me try to show.
Uh,
Now
yeah.
I could move to the side very easily, but I feel like maybe I overthink about going down. I don't know.
Mhm.
It does sound good, but maybe I just have to get used to it
Mhm.
because because I feel like I'm thinking about moving my hand down.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I just want to get to the point where I don't think about it. I just do it
Uh-huh.
automatically.
Okay. Um, just now, were you thinking about moving it only sideways or downwards as well?
Downwards as well. Yeah,
No. Okay. I could see that it was going downwards.
yeah.
And did it feel unnatural or did it feel too artificial?
Not in my lips, but in my hand, it did feel.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Um, as I told you last week, most brass players don't really know about this movement, but everyone does it.
yeah.
So most people use their head and neck instead because that will make the same thing happen. If you keep the horn fixed and if you move your face a bit upwards, that means the mouthpiece will go downwards in relation to your face. So maybe you can also kind of lift your face just a little bit as you move the horn,
Okay.
which will reduce the amount of the movement just by the horn because you get the same distance of movement if you
Yeah.
move both of the objects in the opposite way.
Okay.
Yeah,
Should I try?
yeah. Go ahead. Good.
Whoa, I
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
control it.
yeah,
That feels really better. A lot better.
yeah. And just one more thing. There might be something that will make it easier for you to actually move the horn.
Yeah.
Um, can you move your this is the scapula. Can you move your shoulder blade like that with your right arm? Can you try it only with right? Okay, I see. I see. Okay. Yeah. You're mixing movement there a little bit like this. So moving the arm and turning your torso is a separate movement.
Okay.
But those two are mixed a bit, and which is a very normal thing.
Okay.
So just with your arm, just kind of move around your arm like this, backwards, forwards. Did you try? Without the horn.
Okay. Like this.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And do you know there's a bone going like this here, this collarbone?
Yeah.
this can move forward, this bone itself. Yeah, good. Yeah, and then backwards. Pull it even further back. Yeah, forwards, further forwards, further forwards. Yeah. Okay, and now just go la dee da dee da da dee da 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 dee da da. Yeah. How did that feel?
It feels good. It feels
Yeah.
easy, relaxing.
Easy. Yeah. So now you were moving your arm pretty much.
Okay.
And did that feel wrong or strange?
Not quite. It felt like this feels weirder. The thing I was doing before with the hand, it felt weirder than this.
Okay,
It doesn't feel bad.
good. As a result, you're getting actually more movement,
Yeah, I know that.
but it feels more natural, I guess.
Yeah, I think I will experiment with it
Yeah,
during the week, but it does feel good.
good. So that was kind of more detail in how to move your arm in order to move the position in the mouthpiece.
Okay, I'll
I think
try that
I
out.
think I think once you are kind of you understand how you yourself are doing this. I think you will start to see when other people are kind of unconsciously unawarely doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, this the last week's class made me start thinking about that, about the things I may be doing and I don't know what I'm doing.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they're positive. Well, now,
Um,
uh
the kind of what what the Alexander technique is good with is to pick up those things that you are already doing unconsciously, bring them into your awareness, and so that you can turn them into a skill instead of letting them kind of stay something kind of automatic.
yeah,
Because once you can make something aware and intentionally practice it, then your skill gets refined, and if it gets very refined, then you can actually forget about
yeah, because
it. And if you have that process of intentionally practicing, after you decide you forget about it, whenever if you feel like there's a problem, you know how to revisit it.
yeah, okay. There's another thing I do want to check
Mhm.
upon is my the pressure I apply with my hand. I don't know if we have talked about this, but I still do feel like when I know it may be natural, but when I'm tired or when I'm playing high register, I also tend to push the mouse, to push with my hand a lot,
Mhm.
and I think that even gets it to be worse than it feels, the being tired.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Um, can you play something quite demanding and tiring right now?
Let me think about it. Yeah, maybe.
Hmm. Laudatio.
Did you could you notice it?
Well, and did you feel like you were pressing too much?
Um, I it's more like when I'm tired, like when I've played for like 3 4 hours a day, and right now not much, but I do feel it later on, like.
Yeah. A few years ago in Japan, a music scientist did a kind of demonstration research on mouthpiece pressure. His name, I think his name is Takeshi Hirano, professor in Japan. He got amateur horn players, professional Japanese horn player, and Radek Babarak as a comparison group.
Okay.
And what he found out was Radek was pressing the most in the top C.
Wow.
And the average of the professional players were pressing harder than the amateur players. So when you're talking only about the fact of the amount of pressure, purely the amount of pressure, basically the more built up you are as a player, probably will be pressing more. Well, maybe probably saying too much. According to that single research experiment, Radek was pressing the most. And once they found out that like the kind of minimum, or was it maybe it was average, but the average pressing amount so that you can get a high C. They got a high school student who couldn't play a high C to gradually get him or her to press to the right amount. I guess they had something attached so that they can measure the amount of pressure. And once they got the high school student to press to the required amount, the high school student got the high C for the first time. Is the kind of storyline. So there definitely is the problem for us about endurance, and you get after playing a lot, playing loud, playing high, we get tired and it starts to get painful. Sometimes it's just impossible to keep the embouchure. There is definitely that problem, but I'm not sure if that's purely because someone is pressing too much. So I just want to be careful that we don't decide, okay, problem is excessive pressure, so let's get rid of it. That's not the kind of context I want to go into. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. You just opened my mind.
So when you go up to that B flat, in that phrase you played just now, do you have any kind of plan about how to go from F to B flat?
I just think of a scale. I try not to think about the B flat itself. I try to think like the notes before and the notes after, the note after.
Okay. Do you have any technical or physical idea about how to kind of make that fourth slur?
About how to?
How to make that slur from F to B flat? Any technical or physical concept or idea do you have in like that?
Well, I do it like, I don't do it slurred. I do it with a little tongue, but.
Okay.
Yep. But anyways, what I think about is like, my teachers tell me to not do this, but I most of the time I think about stairs. Da, 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 dee. I don't know if that's wrong or right, but
that's definitely not wrong. But now you're talking about kind of more of the how you think about the notes.
Yeah.
The way you're singing. So any kind of physical or technical material idea about how to kind of get to that B flat?
Technical, okay. Maybe
Yeah.
I think about this is my, yeah, I think about like pushing like
Pushing
my
in, pushing.
stomach
Yeah.
inwards, and also about now I think about moving to the side, and I usually also think about trying to not to cut the air between the the B flat and the note before, like going with one big air.
Let's use the first idea about pushing your stomach inwards.
Yeah.
Do you? Let's play that phrase again, but kind of make sure that you the amount of movement of your stomach, your tummy, is the most when you get up to the B flat.
Okay.
And then now kind of play not thinking about that. Let's make a comparison. Gets a little tight, doesn't it?
Yeah. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's harder to control somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's do something using the top C. Is there any piece or like orchestra excerpt that you're working on that includes a high C?
Let me think about it. Oh, yeah, that's there. I used to study this, but I've months without playing it, so let me try it. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
I just can't.
That one. Okay.
That's for it.
Yeah. When the moment you go from the G to the A, that moment,
Yeah.
really move your abdominal area, your tummy inwards. Right? Right.
Good. There you go.
And then that was good. And then when you tongue the top C, when you go to the C, push again with your tummy. Push your tummy again.
I think at that point it feels like my air stops somehow. So in some moment, I feel like the air stops, and I'm using just muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try again.
Right. It's when, yeah. It's probably when you tongue. When you tongue, you stop pushing the air out.
It may be.
So let's practice. let's start from the G. Ba, 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 ba. And you can tongue each note, but make sure that each time you're really moving your tummy inwards, pushing your tummy inwards. Okay. And then combine that with the embouchure motion. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. And at the top C, the amount of effort you're using in abdominal area should be the most. So if you start with pretty much effort in your tummy from the G, you need even more at the A and then the B and then even more on the C. So it just builds up. Yeah, you're actually. I can hear a decrescendo at the end of the beat. So you're playing da, 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 like that. So let's practice holding the B. Bum, bum, B, like that. Bum, bum, da, like that.
Only up to the B?
Only up to the beat.
I also feel like all of this tightens.
Yeah. Okay. I think so. Do you think you were using your tummy just now?
It's hard to tell. I feel like I'm using all of my body.
Okay. Okay. All right. Then let's do a tummy warm up.
Tummy warm up.
Tummy warm up. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't see my tummy very much, right?
I don't.
You see a little bit?
I see your chest up to like here.
I am wearing proper pants, but I'm wearing a short, so I don't want to.
Okay.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. So this is my big tummy. When I exhale, there's pretty much movement.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I wonder if you're moving as much.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah, good. And then exhale. Good. And
yep.
Okay. Can you make the movement kind of longer and more smooth? Yeah. Yeah, and do that 5 more times. Okay. I think you're bracing a little too much.
I am?
You're bracing your muscles a little too much. So, see, with your abdominal muscles, you can use and brace. So you can stop movement by using your abdominal muscles. That's one way to engage your muscles. But for the air to go out, you need to move the tummy, and you use your muscles in order to move the tummy.
Okay.
So, like, let's say you're going like this with your tummy, brace.
Yeah, it feels like that.
What you want to do is that you want to move it.
Okay.
because the everything inside your tummy gets pushed inwards and upwards. And then that pushes the diaphragm back to its normal position, which pushes the air out from your lungs.
Okay.
So you want a movement all the way kind of through your tummy, inside your tummy.
Okay.
I think you're using the muscles while you're kind of going like that.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah. So just kind of really move your tummy. Forget about breathing in or breathing out. Just, let's have fun.
Wow.
This looks weird, I know. Yeah, move it, move it, move it, move it. Yeah, yeah. Move it. Yes, good, 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 good. Play the horn. Anything,
Anything. Or
anything. Just play around.
do I do what I just practiced while
Yeah,
playing?
yeah.
Maybe something higher.
How about the third movement? Pa, 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 da, da, and for each note, just move your tummy around. Can you go?
Let me try
So
this though.
take it a little slowly. Yes, good, good. Okay. Okay. So now you are moving your abdominal area, and now let's link it to the note. So every time you produce a note, tummy inwards. Ha, 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 ha. With the tongue, without the tongue, either way. Nice. That's it. That's it. Great. Nice. Nice. Now you're getting a beautiful vibrato in your tone. Did you notice that?
Vibrato.
Yeah, a very natural one.
Oh, I did
So,
notice I was doing it, but I didn't notice how it sounded.
yeah. How did that feel? It was sounding right, but how did it feel?
It did feel like full of air. But how can I use that concept in while playing a tempo or I don't know.
At least I think with practice, it's totally possible.
Yeah.
And I feel like Stefan Dorr plays like that all the time. I feel like.
Okay.
I don't know. Kind of looking at him and listening to his sound, the way he never kind of cuts the note with his tongue.
Mm.
So let's practice scales.
Yep.
2 octave, B flat major. Like that. Each time moving your abdominal area inwards and inwards and upwards.
Stand up?
Yeah. Either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I think about that, I stop thinking about moving the horn. So let me try
Yeah,
it.
we can put that together later. For now, just think about the tummy. Nice, very nice. So be natural. Good. C. Ah, good. Um, the sound you missed on A, I think B natural or something came out instead, and the tone quality was really good. Didn't you notice?
Yes, I'm noticing that.
And then so in terms of the natural, what was it? Natural harmonics, you were playing on the higher overtone than the C, top C. Which fingering were you playing on the A? One and two?
Yeah. One,
Yeah,
two,
and you were
three.
getting on the
T1.
B flat.
Yeah.
So you were getting B natural or something like that. And that's actually a higher note than the C. So the way you played that note, the pitch is lower, but the number of the natural harmonics is higher.
Okay.
Do you know?
How's that? No, I B, so is B higher harmonic than C?
Yes. If you're getting the B out with the with 1 and 2 on B flat horn.
Okay. Like A or B?
It was an accident. You
Yeah, I think.
accidentally got a very nice B natural or something when you were intending to play an A.
Oh, I get it now. I get it. Yeah.
And that B natural that came out accidentally sounded really good. And this is kind of practically actually higher than the C played on B flat 0. Yeah.
Yeah.
That like you were interested in, you got interested when you saw me playing those crazy high notes, right?
Yeah.
Um, this is the kind of thinking I used in order to develop my high register. So like if I accidentally get a note on some weird fingering, I think about, okay, what was the actual, how high was that? And if it was higher than the note I was aiming for on some different fingering, I congratulate myself. I tell myself, okay, actually I can do it. And there's something that I'm doing different when I think about playing the high C in a normal way, so to say.
Yeah.
So let's try again. And this time, can you actually sing in your mind, cracking the note? Like that.
Okay. Let me think about that.
Just suddenly stop singing, instead of singing C major, the last three notes, just some crazy, irrelevant high note.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think stop there.
Right. Yeah. See, with the instead of getting the B natural, you got I think the C sharp or something like
Yeah,
that.
something.
And the quality of the sound was really good.
Yes, I noticed.
Yeah. So that way of kind of producing the note is what you want to practice. And then the next moment you aim for the high C, you changed something. And I know what you changed, which is you actually stopped going like that.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do this. C, D, C, D, C on all F horn.
Okay.
And really move your tummy a lot. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And don't worry about cracking the notes. Do not even try to hit the note. Just to sing that note in your mind and really keep on moving your air like that. I think by the third time you will start getting the high C. Let's try. Good. Very good. Try 2 more times.
Okay. Great.
Good. Once more.
What?
Once more.
I did do something different the last time. I don't know what it was.
You were moving the air. So when you watch this video, you will notice that there was a lot of movement all the way from the bottom to the top of your torso. So there was a lot of in here as well.
Yes.
So you were kind of really compressing the air out like that. Yeah, and then that was probably easy for your lips.
That C felt easy actually. It didn't feel like it usually does.
Right. And that's the kind of technique you want to apply when you play Bozan. Can you try?
Yeah, let me try.
Good.
Sorry, I'm just getting.
Yeah. If you're starting from ma pa pa, do that a bit slowly and exercise your torso movements with those 3 notes so that you can bring that into the rest. Pa pa pa. Good. Yes. Good. Hmm. Do you? Yeah. So probably practicing that kind of movement, producing the sound on a scale, on arpeggios, will
make it better.
Yeah, because you already proved that you can do it. But when we went back to the piece, do you have like, do you have an impression that the high notes are kind of difficult and hard?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's just a kind of impression and concept you historically built.
Yes.
But your ability is already kind of is easily above high C. Your lips and musculature, that's already built up. So I think, yeah, the kind of things we were doing just before with that kind of approach must help. I don't
Yeah.
see why it won't. Sorry, it seems like you were trying to ask me a few questions along the.
Yes. Something I've noticed is that when I'm playing, like, if I just play from the the A to the C, it's
Yeah,
easier. Of course, when I go from the first D, that's a lot harder. Is
yeah.
that because of the air? Because of the amount of air I have already used?
Yes and no. Um, you actually have a lot of air left over, but you do start to feel like you've already used some air.
Yes.
And it is true that you have already used some air. But the problem is that you weren't so clear about how to push the air out. So previously, kind of with the level of engagement you had for pushing the air out, which was not so much. But with that level, if you start on an A, you could go up to the high C. But if you started from the D way below, because you have already used some of the air, with the level of engagement of pushing the air out, you didn't have enough left over. But kind of mechanically and physically, you actually have tons of
More.
air. It's just about learning to really, really push it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll work on that.
So, ready? Go slowly from D. Da dee da 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 dee da da dee da da. So up to G, kind of maybe piano, mezzo piano. No emotion, just kind of very dead and straight. And then suddenly at A, go crazy and do that.
Let me try. Like
From D.
from D. Okay.
From D.
Oh, like in the piece. Sorry.
In the piece. Yeah. Now, yes, yeah, 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 but don't take air in.
Oh, just
Yeah,
play.
yeah. Now, wow, that was easy.
Yeah, more or less. It was a lot easier than what it usually
Yeah,
is.
yeah. And and you weren't using much
No,
effort,
I wasn't.
and you have much more reserve. And in order to get the C more kind of vibrant, I think you can engage a little more muscle activities. Then the high C will sound even better.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I really encourage you to kind of celebrate when you hit a note higher than you thought, when you higher than you planned. Every time you do that, the quality is really good. And it's easy on your lips. And that's what you want to say, okay, this is the way I want to play. Although it wasn't the note I intended to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Um so, you're in your first year of college now,
Yep.
and your teacher is, of course, a professional horn player, right?
Yes. Oh, sorry. It's just started my second year.
Just started second year. Okay.
Yeah.
Before you entered college, were you having already lessons from the same teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when did you start having lessons?
Like 1 year before college, so it would be 2018 with him.
Uh-huh.
Before him, I had another professor.
And so during high school, you were already taking lessons?
Yeah, for last year of high school.
And you were playing marching band and wind bands in high school?
Yeah, marching band in high school.
Marching band in high school. Yeah. Were the kids around you any good? I mean, not to be kind of rude to them, but
Yeah, not much. They weren't engaged. Only like 3 of us.
Yeah.
Were like engaged in it.
Yeah. So probably you feel a little bit of high school Mario living in you, just a little bit. So like 20% of the way you're playing the horn is kind of rooted back in high school time. And 80% is what you learned with your teacher. And I think it's particularly when you go towards A, B flat, B natural, and C, your mind kind of goes back a little bit to high school time.
It's interesting.
Yeah, so I can see that you switch the way you're playing. It's the way you use your air, but up to G, you're kind of exhaling really well, and you're making this horn kind of vibrate in a rich way. But above G, you start to kind of take away the air. You start to kind of rely on your tongue and throat.
And it does feel like that in my mind. It does feel like G is something and the above is something else.
Yes, yeah. It's the but as I said many times, actually you're hitting sometimes high notes in a really easy manner. Notes that you higher than you planned. And that's the new Mario. The kind of, music major professional Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you want to look at that and say, that's what I want more. That's what I want more.
Okay.
And you don't have to bully the high school Mario.
Mm-hmm.
If it's there, say, okay, you can be there, but this is what I want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions?
Nope, it's pretty clear up to now.
Good. Good. So, practice moving your tummy. Really move it. Not bracing it, moving it, moving it, moving it. Every time you produce a note, kind of try to engage that. And if you start getting used to it, you can combine it with your embouchure motion and make things will get even easier.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Yep. So I guess I will see you next week.
Yes, next week.
All right. Good night.
Thank you again.